A horrific attack here in New York City. A Jewish man was stabbed in the stomach while his assailant was reportedly shouting "Free Palestine" and other anti-Semitic slurs. Brooke Goldstein is a human rights attorney who serves as director of the Lawfare Project. Brooke, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
What is your reaction to this latest horrific incident taking place over the weekend here in New York?
Well, it's a particularly sad day when you see minority on minority crime. You have to ask yourself, what is a 22-year-old black man doing, stabbing a 30-year-old Jewish man because he's Jewish and shouting "Free Palestine"? What does this have to do with Palestine? And the truth is that the black community has been targeted and is being weaponized with a narrative that is radical, that denies the shared legacy that we have fighting for civil rights. Jews have always been at the forefront of the black civil rights community, black civil rights movements. And now you see the time for Jewish civil rights, and yet the opposite is happening. The black community is being radicalized by leaders like Farrakhan, spreading an Islamist narrative. And what's really ironic about this is that it's the Islamists that are targeting black Christian Africans throughout Africa in the same jihad that happened on October the 7th. And so the communities need to come together and reject this hatred. It serves neither of our communities, and we have to push back on the politicization and weaponization of hatred.
The NYPD reports anti-Semitism is 3 times higher than July of last year, with 30 incidents recorded. Can you blame Jewish New Yorkers if they feel unsafe?
Not at all, and that's exactly what the polls are saying, that Jews are feeling unsafe to walk around the streets of New York and Brooklyn. There have been repeated attacks. We represented, for example, Lihi Aharon, who was slashed in the face with a knife simply because she was speaking Hebrew on the subway system. Same with Matt Greenman, who was attacked at a so-called pro-Palestinian, but really is pro-terror, pro-Hamas rally, also because he was Jewish. And unfortunately, the justice system in New York is like a revolving door. There's a 2-tier system of justice. Those who are attacking Jews are doing so with impunity, and Jewish people are being denied justice and their civil rights protected. This is a civil rights issue of the highest order. We need to get the rule of law under control in this country and stop the myriad of sources that we've talked about in the past about why this is happening and the sources of radicalization here.
Of course, this is political season. We have a presidential campaign among us. There's been a change, of course, on the Democratic side. And during the time when President Biden was in the campaign, there was a large uncommitted vote in places like Michigan, people who did not want him. Now, leaders of uncommitted movements say Biden, with Harris, rather, they see more hope. In Michigan, for example, uncommitted was 13% of the vote. The latest polling from the New York Times, Siena, suggests Harris is up 4 there now. What's your take on that development?
Well, first of all, this uncommitted movement is deceptive in the sense that it's not a movement at all. It's not a grassroots movement of the Muslim American community. It's a well-funded 501c4 lobbying group that's not uncommitted at all. It's very much committed, again, to pressuring the Democratic Party through political extortion, saying that if you don't take a radical pro-Hamas, pro-terror, anti-Israel, anti-American stance, we are going to take Muslim votes away from you. And it's sad because the Muslim American community, frankly, is not a radicalized community. And they believe in freedom and they believe in democracy. And yet these 501c4 groups where there's no transparency, we don't know who's funding them, what their budget is, are claiming to speak for the Muslim American community. And again, getting politicians, unfortunately, to fear taking positions that are actually in our national security interests.
Brooke Goldstein, thanks so much for your time and your analysis today.
Thank you for having me.
Great to see her.